Àtùpà tí ó rénìyàn tí kò rídìí ara rẹ̀. If you are following with my story, I asked if the villagers accepted all what Ade had promised or not. Now, let's continue. Many of the villagers were impressed by Ade's words and deeds, and they started to support him. They forgot about Ifa and they ignored the warnings of the priest. They thought that Ade was the answer to their dream and they wanted him to be their king. They held a meeting and they voted Ade as their new leader. They celebrated his coronation and they cheered for him. They turned their backs on Ola and they mocked him. They said that he was a fool who had no place in their village. They said that he was like a lamb who could not see his own darkness and who needed Ifa to guide him. Ola was hurt by the rejection of the people, but he accepted the will of Ifa. He knew that Ifa had a plan for him and he trusted his fate. He packed his belongings and he left Ileoluji. He went to another village where he continued his life as a farmer. He was happy and peaceful and he never regretted his decision. Ade, on the other hand, was not satisfied with his victory. He wanted more power, more wealth, and more fame. He became tyrant and he enslaved workers. He made enemies with other villages and countries, and he waged war against them. He neglected the rituals and sacrifices of Ifa, and he replaced them with his own religion. He built a temple for idols, and he forced his people to worship them. He only practiced dark magic, and he summoned evil spirits to do his bindings. The villagers soon realized their mistakes, and they regretted their choice. They saw that Ade was a wicked and greedy man who cared only for himself. They saw that he had brought them misery, poverty, and suffering. They saw that he had corrupted their culture, their value, and their faith. They saw that he had made Ileoluji a dark and cursed place, as Ileoluji has become a lamp that sees a person but does not have its own identity or think for itself. They wished they had listened to Ifa and they longed for Ola. They realized they were like lamps who had lost their light and who had followed a false guide. But it was too late. Ifa had abandoned them and they had no hope of salvation. They had to endure the consequences of their action and they had to suffer the wrath of Ade. They lived in fear and despair and they waited for their doom. Àtùpà tí ó rénìyàn tí kò rídìí ara rẹ̀. What is the moral lesson in this story? Join me in my next episode as I take you through the moral lessons of this story and the Odu Ifa that was generated for this story. This story was written by Rubens Odubaku. I am Omoumi Jimo. See you next time. Bye.